This brings up so much nostalgia right now. If you're not aware of who Dagoth Ur is, we're going to watch a little documentary here, and then we're going to watch this, which is a mod that we have that I think you guys are going to dig here. Let's check this out.
Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made. Stop!
We're gonna learn a little bit today. A little gaming
Dagoth Ur
history.
has got to be one of the most confusing villains I've ever encountered in a video game, and definitely the weirdest one in the Elder Scrolls games.
Yes.
So who was this guy? Is he trying to build a god? Was he a god? Is he insane? Is he enlightened? What's his connection to the Dwemer people and their disappearance? Welcome to the Villainpedia. Today we're going to learn about Dagoth Ur, main antagonist of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
His movements, he always kind of freaked me out, man.
So before we get fully started, let's go over just a couple key terms here for the non-hardcore Elder Scrolls fans.
This brings up so many memories.
Number one is Chimer. The Chimer were an ancient race of Mer, or elves, who were eventually cursed and turned into the Dunmer, or modern Dark Elves.
Which you would know if you picked up the books and read it. If you picked up the books around the area and you started reading, you would know that. So for lazy gamers out there that don't, I'm shaming you right now. You should have picked up those books and you should have read. Shame it. Give me a shame button. Shaming you. We're everywhere.
Shame.
You had to.
Shame. Shame.
Number two is Dwemer, the Mer race of dwarves, with a weird, rich history of engineering and technology.
The Dwemer. I love the Dwemer artifacts.
Number three, the Heart of Lorkhan.
Yes.
An artifact of legend. It's literally the heart of the creator of the material plane of existence. So, obviously a super powerful relic. And number four is the Tribunal. The Tribunal is the three leaders of the Chimer/Dunmer people that were worshipped as living gods.
Yes.
So as we begin, let's also just accept the fact that Dagoth is shrouded in a lot of mystery.
Yes.
So to profile him accurately, let's just do a history lesson and kind of frame him with the events that he's involved with. So what we do know is that he is a Chimer male, born as Vorin Dagoth into the great house Dagoth in the First Era, literally thousands of years before the events of the Elder Scrolls 3.
And check out his dance moves too. You got to respect his dance moves. The man knows what's up. Obviously a god now. I would call Dagoth Ur a god now because of those dance moves. Okay.
Again, very little is known about like his childhood and his rise to power within the house, but eventually as an adult, he finds himself as the Lord High Chancellor. So obviously a pretty important guy.
Counselor.
It was around this time a hugely important battle known as the Battle of Red Mountain occurred in Morrowind.
Yes.
In which the Nords were defeated and finally driven out of the region by the Chimer.
Listen. The Nords. This is fake news. The Nords. Don't be getting on the Nords, man. Don't be getting on the Nords like that. Don't be getting on the Nords like that. They weren't really beaten. They just decided it wasn't worth it. Okay.
And the Dwemer people. This victory forged an alliance between the two long feuding groups, and it was known as the First Council. This council worked as intended for about 2 centuries before our man, Vorin Dagoth, discovered something, though we don't exactly know how. He found that a Dwemer man, an engineer named Kagrenak, had found the Heart of Lorkhan, that stupidly powerful Aedric artifact, and intended to build a brass god. A giant golem with the heart as its source of power, apparently to wield in opposition of the Chimer. When this plot came to the surface and it was confirmed by the Tribunal, war was declared. The fighting began, and soon after, the brass god was activated by Kagrenak. At this exact instant, the entire Dwemer race, I mean all of them, well, pretty much all of them, vanished from existence. This is another super confusing and debated event, so I'll cover that at a later date.
My favorite jam in Morrowind was going into the Dwemer ruins and getting my Dwemer artifacts on. Can I get some ones? Can I get somebody in here to testify that you like that? I love my Dwemer artifacts. I was an archaeologist, okay? I was a man of science. I would go down into the Dwemer ruins and I would get myself some Dwemer artifacts. Thank you for the ones in here who also did that. I see a lot of archaeologists here. Indiana Jones the shit. I went down into those ruins and I pulled out the most interesting Dwemer artifacts.
Now, with the threat of the Dwemer seemingly dealt with, the Chimer were left with a hot potato, and that was the tools of Kagrenac, items used to manipulate and draw power from the heart of Lorkhan.
Yes.
Now, Nerevar, the war leader and champion of the Chimer, entrusted the tools to be safeguarded by his good buddy Dagoth. But Vorin Dagoth actually lobbied to have the tools destroyed.
Yep.
Eventually, after much deliberation,
Nerevar
conferred with the tribunal
to
just have them locked away for safekeeping. This was pretty much agreed upon, but Vorin kind of lost it. He declared himself keeper of the tools and refused to give them over to the tribunal.
It was almost like the power of the ring, you know, like those it made him go a little bit crazy. Got greedy. He went Gollum on him.
It was also at this time that Vorin Dagoth was in secret unlocking the mysteries of the heart for himself, using the tools of Kagrenac to siphon divine energy. It was also then that he became Dagoth Ur, a self-proclaimed god, though it is unknown if Nerevar gave him the name or if Ur gave it to himself. Now, what happened next is again unclear at best, with differing accounts of events, but essentially, the tribunal confronted and fought Dagoth Ur and his followers over the tools, with Dagoth being slain, and Nerevar dying soon after. Some accounts have Nerevar succumbing to injuries from the fight, while others have the tribunal poisoning and killing their good friend and leader.
This guy's pretty dead on. This guy knows, like, he knows his lore. I have not seen somebody who knows such lore so matter-of-factly. The nerd lore is strong with this one. Ghost Charm. 258,000 subscribers, well deserved, because so far everything is right except for the Battle of Red Mountain, where he said that the Nords kind of dipped out and lost, which they didn't. They just dipped out. Okay, they decided it wasn't as important to them as they thought. Okay, you didn't defeat. There was no Nord defeat. That's the only discrepancy so far with this story. So if you're new to this story, welcome. Okay, welcome to the nerd lore here, and it's an interesting story. And we'll get into the funny video right after this that deals with Dagoth Ur. We're going to deal with it in a funny manner after this.
Another very cool and weird Elder Scrolls topic that will be saved for another time. So from here, the members of the tribunal seize the tools of Kagrenac, and sometime later, use the tools for themselves on the heart of Lorkhan, achieving immortality and godhood while simultaneously breaking their promise to Nerevar to lock away the tools. For this, they are eternally cursed by Azura, the Daedric deity of dusk and dawn, their people to become the Dunmer, or Dark Elves that we know and recognize. It was also prophesied that their good friend Nerevar would be reincarnated to hold the tribunal accountable for this betrayal. Okay, so now we really have to cut some of the fat here. The story of the tribunal and the Chimer in general is extensive and very complex, so I'm going to attempt to just stick to Dagoth from here on. So centuries passed, but the spirit of Dagoth Ur did not. Somehow connected to the heart of Lorkhan, feeding on its power, until sometime in the Second Era, he was given a new physical form along with some of his homies from House Dagoth. The tribunal didn't know this. They made their pilgrimage to Red Mountain to renew their powers from the heart, only to find themselves shockingly confronted by Dagoth Ur. You can kind of imagine the godhood achieved from the heart to be like a battery, and while the tribunal needed to come back and recharge, Dagoth had literally been plugged into the outlet for a few thousand years or so, making him just immensely powerful and a little crazy. Okay, so we have to briefly talk about Kim. Now, Kim is complex. The SparkNotes version, just for the sake of this video, is as follows. Achieving Kim in the Elder Scrolls is to essentially break through and come to the material understanding that all of existence is simply a dream of a sleep.
Yes. A lot of people don't realize this because they didn't take the time to read the books.
God, or the Godhead.
The storyline is one of the best storylines ever, by the way.
While retaining that conviction that you are an individual who must exist regardless of this fact, the being would then essentially be lucid dreaming within this dream, able to manipulate physical reality and just be crazy powerful. The only confirmed people to ever achieve Kim are the hero Talos, who's coming in another video, and Vivek, who's actually a member of this very tribunal. But if someone was to break through and lack that conviction of individuality, they would essentially be divided by zero and cease to exist. It's pretty common thought that this is maybe what happened to the Dwemer people when they attempted to build a god and they all vanished.
And a lot of people didn't realize this, but this is really how Vivek became popular and got himself into politics. He was introduced in Morrowind 3, Vivek, and now we know.
But this brings us back to Dagoth Ur and his physical death at Red Mountain. In the powers he had taken from the heart and his inability to fully die when tied to it, Dagoth was fed a sort of perverted vision of achieving Kim. Instead of breaking through and realizing that essentially everything is all, he took it as all are me.
Okay, I know this story. I'm going to continue to play this for you. I spilled tea in my keyboard once again. I will be right back. I mean, my God. Tea is my mortal enemy.
Some fans call this anti-Kim, but that's totally just like a theory, and I don't know. I personally think that he was just incredibly confused and driven mad by this misconception, essentially creating an insane god in physical form, ready to crack skulls and maybe build a little something inside a Red Mountain. This also earns him the title from Vivek, the Sharmat, or False Dreamer. Now fast forward a little bit to the third era, when the Nerevarine, our main player character, is sent to Morrowind to investigate things, and we have all the makings of a great adventure and a final adversary. So all that background's great, but what exactly is Dagoth Ur attempting to do? Why do we need to stop him in Morrowind? Now in short, Dagoth Ur is attempting to build a second brass god, known as a Kulakon, using that very same Heart of Lorkhan. He's also spreading disease in the Blight and Corpus diseases by the way of huge ash storms coming from Red Mountain itself. These diseases cause horrible cancerous growths and boils, and lead to ash vampires and zombies stalking the region to do his bidding. It's even said that he can use these thralls as puppets and speak through them. His endgame is essentially to transform all of Morrowind into a theocracy worshipping his constructed god Kulakon, dismantle the tribunal, unite the Dunmer under one banner, and go on a crusade. The only way to stop him is to gather up the tools of Kagrenac and come directly for that heart. It's also kind of interesting and cool to note that upon Dagoth Ur being defeated, aka the Heart of Lorkhan's destruction, it also would sever the tribunal from their godhood as well, just in a nice way tying his fate directly to his adversaries. Now none of this is to say that he's just like a rabid demon kind of villain. He's actually kind of charming and definitely funny, and intends to implement charismatic persuasion along the way to achieve his goals.
Dagoth Ur welcomes you, Nerevar, my old friend. But to this place where destiny is made, why have you come unprepared?
And I think this video would be like another 30 minutes if it included the full scope, step by step, of his plan. There's also tons more information about Dagoth and his relationship with the Tribunal, with Vivek, with Nerevar. I mean, in the 36 Lessons of Vivek, a book series in game, there's just a ton of light shed on this. But as things get deeper, it just gets abstract, almost psychedelic with Dagoth Ur. But if you're at all interested, I definitely suggest you check out some fan theories or analysis online.
Okay, we're almost done with this, and then we're getting to the funny video.
Dagoth Ur fails ultimately because he's unable to hold control of the tools of Kagrenac. These are key to manipulate.
Oh, you got to the part about the zombies. Yeah, I see DY said, I'd never trust any warlord that made use of zombies. Yes, good comment. Good comment. I need a bib. The chat's saying I need a bib. Java said I just created a new multiverse. Imagine DG with spaghetti smeared all over his face. And I'm usually a very neat person. I just, for some reason, I spill the only time I ever spill anything is on the stream and all over my equipment. It's the only time that I'm a messy boy.
Manipulating any sort of power coming from the heart, and unable to be recreated in any way, shape, or form, as Kagrenac, the Dwemer guy who was the sole creator, is long gone. Additionally, through his delusions of immortality and ascension, he overlooks the Nerevarine prophecy and that it could be his own downfall. He sees himself as all and all as him, when in reality, he's just confused and kind of tragically evil. So that is Dagoth Ur, a spectacular villain shrouded in mystery to this day, and remains, in my opinion, the finest of all Elder Scrolls antagonists.
Absolutely agree.
That concludes this villain.
And also, now here is Dagoth Ur. And it says the Reddit Dagoth Ur follower experience. And this is a dude that put a few clips of his gameplay together that made a mod where he had a Dagoth Ur NPC follow him. Okay, so this is the Reddit Dagoth Ur follower experience. Let's do this. So now we have some context.
Are we stopping to visit your goon cave, Nerevar? I got 36 lessons in romance. If you hand me anything heavy, I am going to toss it and gaslight you about ever giving it to me. Behold my power, Dragonborn. Observe. Onahista no... Do you think wet dreams are Vermina's doing? Or is that more of a sanguine kind of thing? I am a god. How can you kill a god? Oh great, just what we needed. Bigger fucking Argonians.
I like this. I like this mod. I would love to have Dagoth Ur follow me.
Are you looking at my testicles, Nerevar?
Best modder of the year goes to this man. Who is this dude? Who is this dude? Dur Colonel. Okay. I like it. I like the mod so far. Peace out,
clip,
Nikki.
Nerevar.
Dagoth Wave MP4.
Give me a moment. I need to collect all their foreskins. I'm working on a potion, you see.
He's a lot different than what we watched, isn't he, Zap?
Nerevar, quick, install a mod to explode this guy's cock. Not in that way, though.
This deserves some applause, man. This is the best. Oh my God.
Oh good. I was tired of not being bothered by a lesser being. Pin him down, Nerevar. I'll grab his foreskin before he gets the chance to retaliate. What do you want, you smelly boomer? Okay, but like, I wasn't done talking to you. The sub-8 beta males think they can take a sigma?
Sub-8 beta males!
And excuse me works just as well, you know. Something so beautiful about the rain. Somber. Reminds me of the old days. Back before Bethesda sucked eggs. Cringe boomer detected.
Oh man, so good.
This better be Dagoth Urgent. If you want me to whisper, you will have to pin my tongue down with your own. A little tongue battle, if you will. You interrupted my mewing session. I am become death, destroyer of your titan. Hey, Nerevar, I'm all wet. You haven't been looking at my testicles again, right, Nerevar?
The best spot ever. Imagine playing.
Hello, Mario. Oh, sorry, wrong Kalpa.
Oh,
It tickles! So can I get back to my podcast, or do you need something else? I've been working on a new spell, you know. Testiculus torsioneus. I think you will enjoy using it once it's done. It doesn't work on women, though. I'm not gonna lie, Nerevar. You scared the absolute shit out of me just now. Now you will taste true power. Fine. I didn't want to follow you anyway, Baka.
Great. Greatness. Greatness.